Hello, everybody, and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room. We're back again this time. Our brand new show. I know I've gone on about it a lot, but we are here now. The chat room is here. A brand new show, which is driven by you guys, everyone who gets involved and watches our videos. So if you've got any questions for us about Liverpool, upcoming fixtures, transfer rumours, whatever it is, get it in the comments and we will absolutely go through every single thing that gets put in there. No questions asked, of course. No foul language, no inappropriate discussions, of course. But Liverpool, keep it to Liverpool, and we should be good. But I'm joined today by Matty and Anthony. We'll kick things off with a little bit of a preview of the Leeds game, which is on Wednesday. Matty, how are you doing, mate?
I'm really excited for this game. I think Anfield's going to be rocking that last 15 minutes against Norwich. When we scored the 3 goals as well, it was probably the best I've witnessed Anfield this season. It was rocking, it was fiery, and it's what you expect of Anfield. I expect nothing different in this Leeds game. I do think it's just going to be fiery from the off. I think we need to bring a good atmosphere. I think the fans need to get behind them from minute one. Because let's be serious, if Liverpool win every game now until the end of the season, we're going to end the season with 4 trophies, and that's the first time in anyone's lifetimes that I know of really that's happened. So
Are you feeling optimistic about it then, the quadruple?
I'm not so bothered about the quadruple. I do think I hope we win the League Cup at Wembley next week. Otherwise, be a wasted trip down it for me. But I'm quietly confident we're going to win the league and Champions League. Yeah.
And Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Same as Matty. You know, I've been quietly confident that we could bring back the league. A lot of our fans were pessimistic this season. Obviously, City were far ahead, but they've dropped points now, and it's our time to take over.
I mean, it is a massive week, isn't it? This could make or break our season. It's only Leeds, you could say, but you know, any more dropped points and you feel like that's it. And then, of course, the Carabao Cup. I mean, to get all this way and not go home with the trophy would be a bit of a bummer. Thank you to everybody who's already here, which is really good to see. Jen, hope you're doing well. Same goes to Hyla, Ayush, Matthias as well, and Adam. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. And Jen, of course, stop it. How many times do I have to tell you? Stop sending super stickers, honestly. Getting into the Leeds game a little bit more, because they have got, this is Leeds I'm talking about, another injury. They were, of course, already without Patrick Bamford, Calvin Phillips and Liam Cooper going into this game. But in that barnstorming fixture against Man United, which I hate to admit was a cracking game, the 4-2 defeat at Elland Road, it now looks like Robin Koch has picked up a head injury and is unlikely to be available for the fixture. I mean, this is a heavily depleted Leeds United side. Matty, surely there's got to be no excuse for not picking up the 3 points today, on Wednesday.
You'd think so, because we're at home. I mean, I'm always wary of a Marco Bielsa side. Like, he's a phenomenal coach. Kris, who we're lucky to have with us, has actually watched him coach and said how well he is. And I like the way Leeds play football. They are struggling this season, but that doesn't mean they're going to come and throw 11 men behind the ball like other teams in that end of the table probably would against Liverpool. They're going to come attack us. They are depleted. I do think we should turn them over. That's why I think it's important that the atmosphere is there from the start as well. And I can't see anything less than 3 points. Like I said, I'm quietly confident we're going to win the league, and the only way we're going to do that is winning every game. So.
Again, to everybody who is in the comments, this is the chat room, so make sure that you're getting all of your thoughts, questions in the chat. We'll have a little discussion now, and we'll let those gather up, and then we will go through all of them and delve into whatever is on your mind. So please do get your thoughts in the comments. Anthony, coming to you on this one. I mean, Leeds games do tend to be very interesting, quite open affairs. Are you expecting pretty much the same thing again on Wednesday?
I think we're gonna batter them. They weren't great last time out when we played them away, and same thing is going to happen. Obviously, they're missing quite a few players as well, like you just said. They picked up another injury, and I know Bielsa's highly rated, but I don't see the hype around him. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he's not really shown anything special this season, especially. But with all our players back, obviously with Firmino, Jota injured, it's a big miss. But pretty much fully fit squad. We should easily take care of them.
Yeah, it's typical, isn't it? We get our first fully fit squad in God knows how long, and within a week, two of our forward players are seemingly out. It's unknown. Klopp has confirmed he's not sure if they're going to be in or out of the squad for the Carabao Cup final on Sunday, but by the sounds of that, they're definitely going to miss the game on Wednesday. Again, Matty, it shouldn't hinder us too much, should it, with the depth that we now have?
Nah, I don't think we'll see our strongest 11. We'll definitely see Alisson because we've Klopp's confirmed he's going to start the final. But I do think the players, you're not going to expect to see. You'll probably see Salah, he starts every game, and potentially Mane. But I don't think you're going to see the likes of Thiago start in this game or anything like that. I think they'll be getting saved for Sunday. Maybe Harvey Elliott might get a start because he didn't play on the weekend, so he'd be good to see against the Leeds side. I think he'd have a bit of fun against them. But I think Luis Diaz might start as well. I think it's going to be a different side completely is what we'll see in the final. So as much as I want to see Thiago, because without him on the weekend, we were nothing. He came on and completely changed the game. He's a Rolls-Royce footballer, really.
It's interesting that we speak about sort of the priorities. I mean, obviously, in the long term, the Premier League is absolutely the priority. But Anthony, if you were Jurgen Klopp, how much would you tweak this team for the Leeds game? Because, as we've said, they're massively injury depleted, but they still will come and play football. Can we afford to rest that many players? What kind of team do you expect to come out?
Probably a similar-ish one to the Norwich match. I didn't like Oxlade. I don't like Oxlade-Chamberlain being at this club in general, but when I see his name on the team sheet, puts a bit of doubt ahead of the game, and I wouldn't mind seeing the likes of Minamino maybe play, rest on the front three. But it's insane as well, isn't it? Like, we signed Diaz, but if we hadn't have signed him and Jota and Firmino are injured for the final, then we would have had to play either Minamino or Origi in a League Cup final. But yeah, I think we got enough to. I forgot what the question was. Sorry, I was watching.
Just rough sort of, well, not a lineup prediction, but yeah, what sort of players do you expect to come in?
You know what? I'd like to see Gomez play at centre back. I've got to be honest. I don't think he did a great job at right back. Second half, he definitely performed much better. But it'd be nice to see him play centre back, or either Konate as well, and then maybe see Trent back there.
Thank you very much, everybody, for all the comments. Start with Adam, just because it kind of leads off of what we're saying. With those injuries to Firmino and Jota, how big could this be? Not just for us getting to see Diaz, but for Diaz, his time to shine. Because we know that with Klopp signings, normally, if everything goes his way, with the likes of Fabinho, Tsimikas, it's a bit of a slower introduction. Jota as well. But Diaz, almost out of necessity, has been thrown in the deep end. How big is this for him?
Huge, huge. But I do believe he has got the capability to do so. He's a phenomenal player. On Saturday, I found myself watching him in the ground, like more so than the games, and his off-ball movements are phenomenal. He'll press anything, and he's so successful in his pressures as well. He'll chase anything that's a dead ball, making it something that's happened so many times on the weekend. And there's a nice run of fixtures for him to make his mark, really. Like, Leeds are going to come out and attack us. So again, that's a team that he's phenomenally fast, and I think he can counter on that. And then you've got like Chelsea in the final, you've got Norwich, West Ham as potential games where what these are going to miss. Encounter to City, who are playing the likes of Everton and United. So I do think that we need someone like Diaz to step up, score loads of goals, and just keep winning, and hope that City do drop points, because you hear of Everton fans saying, "Oh, we want to get beat against City," but they're 2 points off the bottom of the league.
Embarrassing.
So they have to win. So I think they're going to go out fighting, and I do think Everton could maybe get something at City, and it'll be even better when we win the league and say, "Oh, use helped us with it." It'll just be funny to wind them up a bit more.
Just briefly on City, Anthony. I mean, they are a relentless side, and I feel like anytime they do drop points, which is so rare these days, everyone's very quick to jump on the bandwagon that, or they're starting to crack, it's going to start shifting our way. Do you see it that way this time, or do you see it more the way that I do, that they're probably going to bounce back and go on another 5-10 game winning run?
No,
they're impossible to predict, aren't they? Like I remember 18-19 season when who they lose to? Was it Newcastle? And then we were 7 points clear or something. And then they just won every single match up until the end of the season. It is crazy, but obviously we're all just hoping that they keep slipping up now and then. And to be honest, it's looking like that. They look like they're missing a striker in certain matches. That they've got a bit of I won't say luck, but got that extra bit of quality in the attack than other teams, which helps them obviously. But it looks like they are missing that extra bit of quality to help them win the matches, like against Tottenham. So hopefully they do slip up.
Matty, you disagreed quite quickly there. What makes you so certain that this time's different?
I don't know. They're just as much as Everton probably want to get beat by City next week. Everton are literally 2 points off the bottom of the table. That's a massive game for Everton, and they have that game not this weekend, the weekend before, where Donny van der Beek played. I thought he played quite well. I do think Lampard won't be a success there, but I do think that he could maybe have a few big results in him, and getting a result against City would be huge for Everton. And they can't just roll over. If they roll over, we've seen this week the teams at the bottom all got points bar Everton. They now find themselves 2 points off the bottom. They've got to go out and win. They can't roll over at City because otherwise they could face themselves getting relegation. Newcastle are looking quite strong, to be honest. Norwich, we've been playing well under Dean Smith. To be fair, we looked poor against them at the weekend until Thiago came on. So they're playing well. So Everton needs to get that result. And even United, like that game's impossible to predict. It's like a Liverpool Everton form goes out the window in them types of games. United could sneak a result at City. You never know. And then like having games like Palace away, that's a tough game for City. Crystal Palace have been playing really well this year under Patrick Vieira, so they have got a run of some incredibly tough fixtures, whereas Liverpool have got like Leeds at home and West Ham at home before we then play Brighton. So it's home fixtures. We've got that advantage, where City have got a couple of tough aways thrown in there as well.
Well, we can only hope. Again, the comments have been going crazy whilst we've been talking about that. Thank you so much to everybody. Make sure that you leave a like on this video as well. It really helps us out. And if you do happen to be brand new, please subscribe. We're a great bunch, and we have nice shows like this pretty much every day. But I need to start getting through some of these because otherwise we're just not going to have any time. Jen was asking about Curtis Jones. Anthony is someone that we haven't seen too much of at least the last couple of games. I don't even think he's been in the match squad in the Norwich game.
Three.
Is he he hasn't got an injury or anything, Matty, is he, as far as we know?
No.
Is this just a show off, almost a flex from Klopp of how deep our squad now appears to be with no injuries? Or I can't remember when the last time Jones played, but I thought he was doing quite well since he came back from that eye injury.
I can't remember who he played against either, but I like Curtis Jones. I think he brings something kind of new and something different to what Henderson and was it against Arsenal. Henderson and James Milner were in the midfield. It was just really flat and just defensive. And then when Jones come on, he was taking on players, shooting from distance. He was playing well. I think it was against Arsenal in the second leg, wasn't it? He played really well and possibly man the match. Obviously, Jota played well as well, but I don't see the problem having him as part of the squad.
I think
Matty,
I think with Jones, he's just being what he should be at the minute. He's a 21-year-old footballer. It's hard to break into the first team. When you look at players ahead of him, like with our strongest midfield, you've got no one's dislodging Fabinho. Curtis Jones doesn't play there anyway. But in the two spots that's up for grabs, he's competing with Thiago, who's arguably one of the best midfielders in the world, to be on his day, to be fair. And then in that other space, you've then got Harvey Elliott, Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain, all competing for that one position. Curtis Jones is still only young, and I think you don't break into this first team straight away, and he's had to cover recently. He hasn't had some good games. He's had some good games. He's as a kid, he's still learning, and I think the only way you're going to go into the first team and keep your spot is if you're an exceptional young talent, someone like Harvey Elliott, who I do believe would start every week, because he's just a class above. That's not to say Curtis Jones isn't good enough for Liverpool, because I strongly believe he is, and I think in the future he's going to be a stalwart in that midfield. But I think someone like Harvey Elliott will get game time because he is literally going to be a generational talent. So he has to be playing. He's different gravy, really. But I'm not worried about Curtis. I think he's just being a kid. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to get loads of opportunities. He shouldn't be a starter in this Liverpool side anyway. And he's going to keep learning, and who better to learn from than the likes of Thiago and stuff like that ahead of him.
Yeah, time's certainly on his side. Switching to another midfielder who time maybe isn't on his side, Jen, once again, talking about Oxlade-Chamberlain's performance. So I didn't have the luxury of watching the game, so I will need you two to help me out on this one. Matty, I'll come to you straight away. Thoughts on his performance and thoughts on his Liverpool future?
Oh, he was horrendous. There's no good bit of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on that weekend. He was shooting from places where you just know, as a fan, he's not going to score from. So how he stood there thinking, yeah, I'm going to get this in. I like the Ox post-injury. He was fantastic for us, but he isn't the same player since that injury. And he's one of them players you're going to look at and think, like, what would have been without injuries? There's no hard grudges with the Ox, but he just simply is not good enough for Liverpool anymore. I said it last summer. Kris strongly disagreed. I thought West Ham was probably about his level. He's just not good enough for a title challenging side. Now, it's sad to see. I do like him, but the injuries ruined him. I think it's very similar to Joe Gomez, who's found himself fourth choice in the centre-back pecking order since his injury. I think it's very similar to the Ox, and I do think that he will depart in the summer. No hard feelings from me. I'd be quite happy to see it and invest the money somewhere else in the squad, because midfield's got quite a lot of options, and some of the options aren't good enough for Liverpool, in my opinion. We've got a very, very strong 10, 11, 12 players. And then after that, the drop-off's stupid, really. So it was good to see someone like Diaz come in. I think we've got our summer business for the attacking front sorted early, and I do think we will bring a midfielder in the summer and get rid of the Ox.
It's an interesting comparison, actually. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Gomez, they almost find themselves in similar positions, especially in terms of the way that we as fans view them. Anthony, on the debate room yesterday, me, Kris, Chedu and Jack, we spoke about Joe Gomez and said that we'd actually probably prefer to keep him around the squad, whether he's fourth choice or not. You know, having him as another choice at centre-back is better than what we'd probably get for him cash, and B, who you could find to replace him for decent value. Does that apply to Ox, or do you think now is a time to just cut ties, try and fill that spot with someone better?
Time to go. He's not been good for a couple of seasons now. Obviously, Gomez has been injured, so it's a bit different. But whenever Chamberlain does get his chance, he just never performs. I was hearing he's been exceptional at some points this season. Although he's been dreadful. Every time he plays, he's just really bad, and he doesn't offer anything to Liverpool that we don't already have. Like Matty said, all he does is take long shots. And I think at the end of the first half against Norwich, he had the chance to pass to Kate or get a decent shot off on target, and he just completely missed it. So he just doesn't have that quality anymore, and it's sad because we all like him, but he's just not good enough. And with Gomez, I agree as well. There's literally no point selling him, because who else can we buy that will be happy being fourth choice centre back? If Gomez is happy being centre back and being rotational for now, then keep him.
A lot of comments coming in about the midfield. Kris says, I'd much rather Jones, Morton and Elliott share Ox's minutes. So whilst Jones, does tend to be more of a left-sided player, the left-sided eight or the left wing, that's filled by Thiago, Diaz and Mane. So he's not getting minutes there. Morton and Elliott, again, Morton can play CDM, but of course Fabinho's there. So it's an interesting point, isn't it, Matty, that there's a lot of players sort of waiting in the wings, and surely Ox has just kind of had more than enough chances to prove he's worth keeping around in place of these players.
Yeah, but I think one thing that's went very under the radar in recent years with Liverpool is just how good our academy is at pumping some talent out of there. Like in recent years, we've had Trent, Jones, Elliott's come through the academy, we bought him from Fulham. Kate Gordon's been getting minutes, Tyler Morton, because they haven't got a Brazilian nationality and we haven't bought them from somewhere for 30 million. People underappreciate players, but I do think with the Ox, if he was to go, we are stacked in the midfield. People don't look at it like that, but every time Tyler Morton's been called upon, bar the Spurs game, his Premier League debut, I think he's been fantastic. Harvey Elliott, for me, is going to be world class, and I do think Curtis Jones will be as well. So like Kris said, them three players sharing Ox's minutes, not a problem with it, to be honest with you. I do think we're I think we do need a quality addition in the midfield, but I wouldn't like anyone other than Jude Bellingham, to be honest. But I do think in terms of depth, we've got quite a lot of options, and the academy has really pumped talent out in the past few years. So why not use them? The quality kids, and they're not going to get the chance if they're sitting there in the wings.
Hyler makes an interesting point, Anthony. He says, I want more midfielders, not less. Fans always undervalue fringe players. Liverpool have only 2 players that have played more than 50% of the games. I'd love to know if that is 100% true and who those 2 players... Well, I imagine I could guess one of them, but that is very interesting if true. And
I think it probably is. I think it is because midfield's been hurt by injuries a lot this season, so we have needed the depth, but I do think we need better quality depth than the Ox.
How much do you agree with that, Anthony?
Yeah, I've already said, I think when we were talking about we need more forwards than midfielders, I thought it was the opposite. I thought we need more midfielders than forwards. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Tchouaméni. He's one that we're getting. Yeah, and Carvalho from Fulham. We pretty much already signed him, haven't we? So there's extra 2. Obviously, Matty wants Bellingham, but either one of Bellingham or Tchouaméni, then I'll be happy.
I'll put that to the everyone in the comments. If you think Bellingham is actually plausible, if we go for him, if we can get him, Matty, I know that's who you want. Do you think FSG sanction that? Do they go for it?
I don't know. I know when we bought Van Dijk and Alisson, that was with the Coutinho money. So, but I do strongly believe, me and Kris spoke about this on a stream. I think you might have been in a few weeks ago, where we believe one of them might have came in that summer. Who knows? FSG may buy out. There's been loads of reports in the past few weeks saying that, and more so in the past few days, well, Bellingham apparently turning down United and only wanting Liverpool. I'd love him. It seems like a match made in heaven. Huge Liverpool fan. I think Jude's probably named after Hey Jude. Be phenomenal. Do I think FSG will buy him? Who knows? If they do, I do think it'll probably get a lot of people not back on side, but it'll please a lot of the fans. And he fits the model really, doesn't he? He's young and he's only going to become more. If FSG wants to sell him in 3-4 years, you're going to make your money back on him because he is still young. So it fits their model, but we can all hope.
Speaking of recruitment, my segues are incredible tonight. It's brilliant. Ayush says, I think with forwards, we've had way less of a settling in period. Jota started firing straight away. I guess you could throw Salah into that. Mane, I remember, scored on his debut as well. And Luis Diaz has looked very bright. FSG, the recruitment policy, Moneyball, all of that stuff, it's always a big topic, Anthony. But how impressed have you been with, although it's been limited, the players that we have signed? We haven't put too much of a foot wrong in recent years, have we?
In general, for Klopp's entire managerial career at Liverpool, I don't think he's made that many bad signings. To be fair, there's maybe Dominic Solanke and the odd one, but pretty much every signing he's made has played really well for us. And Luis Diaz looks like another addition to that. And even with Diaz, even if he doesn't score, he's still playing well, which is what we want to see. We see that from Mane quite a lot as well, where he's not maybe scoring goals or getting assists, but they're still playing well and working well for the team.
Jen says that we need backup cover for Fabinho and Henderson. For Fabinho, and Henderson will move into the Milner role. I presume that means. Sorry. So there's a lot of chat though that Milner will get a new contract next season. What are your thoughts on that, Matty?
If he's not on 130 grand a week, I'm not too bothered. I think someone like James Milner, his experience and his professionalism in a dressing room can only do wonders. Now people are saying, "Oh, get rid of him. He's old. Shouldn't be here." But if you go and ask Steven Gerrard what Gary McAllister's influence was on him in that 2001 season, he'll tell you it was priceless. Gerrard's went and got Gary Mack in his coaching team since he's went into managing. Like the experience, we signed Gary Mack, who was old. Everyone said he was finished, and the experience that he added to that side, you go and ask any of them players how valuable it was. So, in that sense, I do think it's good to keep Milner around. I do think he'll probably then move into a coaching role. But provided he's not on the contract he's on now, because he is a high earner in terms of Liverpool's wage structure. So if he's on, like, say, 50, 60 grand base and maybe a few more for performance-related appearances and stuff like that, then I'd be happy to keep him, because you've got to be realistic. People like James Milner, who have won it all, he is a model professional. He's played more games for Liverpool than any other club in his career, and he signed for us when he was 31. Like, he's a model professional. That you need more of them people in football, and I do think that experience is invaluable. So I'm happy to keep him, but just not on the wages that he's on now. He does need to take a pay cut for me.
Sort of same thing to you, Anthony. Henderson, sorry, we're kind of stuck with him. Obviously, he signs that new contract in the summer. Actually, do you see him settling for almost fulfilling that Milner role? Do you think maybe from next season we'll start to see him fade a bit more into the background, a bit more of a backup player?
Definitely. I don't think when he signed the contract, he thought he was still going to be starting for us at 30, 34, 35 years old, or whatever, however old he is. But he's shown it as well this season. He's declined quite a bit. When we were winning the Premier League, he was position in a positional sense. He was defending really well, attacking really well. But now he just seems to lost an extra bit of gear or whatever it's called. But yeah, same with, I think he'll just take on that Milner role, and it's a tough one with Milner, because I'd really despise seeing him play. Not in I can't stand the guy, but he's just not good enough to start or play for us. But like Matt said, in the dressing room, it's good to have those sort of players around. So 50-50 on him as well.
Again, thank you to everybody who's involved in the comments and everybody who's watching. Please make sure that you do like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're ever closer to 3,000 subscribers, which feels like that would have been mental a month and a half ago when we were at or around 2,000, and all of a sudden we're approaching 3. So this is fantastic. But keep it going, everybody. We're inundated with comments, and it's great to see. Jen says, I'd love to see Milner at the academy after he hangs up his boots. Priceless knowledge. Matthias is also in your boat, Matty, in terms of what we should do with him. Adam says, the way this conversation is headed, it sounds like we need defenders and midfielders. Matty, you obviously weren't there at the Gomez debate, but what is your general feeling towards him? Is he worth keeping around? Do you think that he would want to go? Should we look to cash in on him?
It's a tough one, really, because I do think if Joe Gomez wants to go to play more minutes and benefit his career, then I wouldn't stand in his way. Joe Gomez, for me, was one of the standout performers in that Premier League winning side. I really like him as a defender, but that injury that he's come back from, there was so many doctors saying that he may never play football again. So the fact that he can even play football is remarkable. And we've got to be realistic. Joel Matip and Konate are better than him presently. Maybe 12, 18 months ago, Joe Gomez was a nailed-on starter, but he has found himself lower down the pecking order. And on Saturday, I think in the first half, he wasn't very good, but then he done a job in the second half, and that's what we originally bought him for. He was a right back, and obviously Trent's just Trent, but I'd keep Gomez around because he is that cover for the right back and the centre back position. I do think that selling someone like Nico Williams is probably a better option. Like we've loaned him out now, and Gomez can cover it. But I wouldn't sell him. No, I wouldn't sell him, to be honest with you.
Just going back through to some of the earlier comments again, Jen always getting involved, always asking, and we just never have an answer. Any Salah contract news? It does seem to have gone very, very quiet on that front. I
think it's done me. I think they're just waiting to announce it. Mo Salah doesn't want to leave Liverpool. I don't think he would ever leave Liverpool. He's very, very happy at the club. You see, every time he scores, he'll shout it at the players, and he still has that other little fist bumps to the fans and stuff. He loves to do. He said it so many times, and I think he'll stay. I really do. And because I think FSG know if Mo Salah leaves and we don't renew his contract, there'd be riots. They'd be forced out the club. He's not going anywhere.
Where else would he go anyway? Like he's better than. Obviously, we're going to say he's better than Liverpool at the moment, though.
But that's not even being biased, though, is it? Because there's maybe Real Madrid. They've got a decent project on at the minute, but why would he go there? Do you know, it's a project at Liverpool. We are a finished article, more or less, and we're still growing. We've still got Klopp. He's working under the best manager in the world. So why would he leave?
Adam, I feel this is a bit of a joke question. As it stands now, which means more for Liverpool, the Premier League title or the Carabao Cup final? If you mean right now, then I guess kind of maybe the Carabao, but overall,
I'd say the way them players, their mentality is, I'd say right now, their main focus is probably the Premier League because it's Leeds on Wednesday. They won't even be thinking about that Carabao Cup. They are pretty much the next game mentality. All the interviews that came out when they won the league and stuff, it was all about the next game. They don't care about if trophies come, then fantastic, but they only care about the next game, and that mentality is fantastic.
Back on to Salah. Ayush, thank you for getting involved as always. Has outlined PSG or Madrid if they don't get Mbappe, which is interesting because we all would love Mbappe as well. Speaking pure hypothetical madness, would you take Mbappe and then let Salah go to Real Madrid?
No.
Whoa! No. Oh, okay. Let's get everyone's thoughts in the comments. Go on, Matty.
Mbappe is a fantastic footballer. He's young. He's going to be world class. But what worries me about Mbappe is once he loses that pace, like Michael Owen, once he lost that pace with an injury, it was just, he wasn't the same again. And that's not saying he's going to get injured. It's all hypothetically. But Mo Salah's proven in the Premier League. He's been our top goal scorer every year since he's came in. You don't know what Mbappe is going to be like come the Premier League. It's a lot more physical than the French League. What is he going to play like? And he's going to be world class regardless. But is he going to give us the same numbers as Mo Salah? You never know. And for me, Mo Salah is the best player in the world. I wouldn't replace him with anyone. And I know people say PSG because they're owned by Qataris and stuff like that. But I think with Mo Salah, he is very much, he loves the club. We're a club who give him the chance to perform again in the Premier League when everyone else doubted him. And I think he respects the club a lot. I honestly strongly believe Mo Salah won't leave this club.
Adam says Salah is going so well. I couldn't picture anyone doing as well as him, especially considering his numbers. I mean, Anthony, it's almost easy to forget that we are literally witnessing greatness here. What was it? He's like the second fastest Liverpool player to reach 150 goals for the club.
Yeah,
this is a once in a generation player we're watching, and it feels like we do almost take it for granted, doesn't it?
He's just too good. I don't think, obviously besides Messi and Ronaldo, I've never seen a player like perform this well. Maybe obviously Luis Suarez as well when he's at Liverpool, but he's a freak as well. Like you say, we could maybe swap Mbappe for Salah, but I think Salah will go into like how Ronaldo's doing, still be performing at this level when he's 36, 37 years old. He's just in good shape. You look at the other forwards, Mane probably not nowhere near as good shape as Salah. And Salah, everyone thought Salah had his peak 17, 18 when he broke the record. He broke numerous records, in fact, and he's breaking it even more now. So he's just unbelievable.
A couple of people, Drew, nice to see you as well. Talked about Haaland maybe in place of Mbappe in that deal. Does that change anybody's minds? He's maybe doesn't rely on his pace. He's a bit more of a powerful player, potentially more longevity. Does that change anything for you, Matty?
I love Haaland. Think he's a fantastic footballer. But the downside is Mino Raiola is his agent, so Liverpool notoriously don't do business with him. There was reports a few months ago that we were now mending that relationship with him. We've discussed this on stream before, and it does only have benefits because he has got the likes of Gravenberch and that as well, Raiola. So you have got to have a working relationship with him. But I do think Haaland, if he's coming the Prem, is probably going to Manchester City.
Hyla says back on Mbappe has 12 goals in the French league. Salah has 17 goals and 9 assists in the best league. I mean, yeah, the absolute greatness is what we are seeing here. Ayush says, love Salah, got to keep him. I'd only be a little less angry if he was covered up before by Mbappe, but I'd still be mad. And Hyla says that Haaland will go to Man City. If that happens next season, forget this season whether we win the league or not. The next season, is there anything we could do to keep up with Man City with an elite striker leading their already fantastic team?
I think Liverpool are better than Manchester City and every aspect on the pitch.
I think our starting 11 is much better than Man City's, but we just always have injuries, and that's something we can't help. And when you look at our bench, it just isn't as good as Man City's. But if we're talking about our starting 11, it is much better than City's.
I think even if they had a class striker in, like Liverpool's attacking strength is still better than Manchester City's, in my opinion. I really do believe that. And yeah, Haaland will add enormous strength to Manchester City, but I do think that we could probably still win the league. We're still going to add players in the summer. I think this will be a massive summer for Liverpool. And if Haaland goes to City, doesn't worry me. It's also exciting to see what he can do in the Premier League. Like, I think he's a good player. I enjoy watching him play, but obviously when he goes to City, I hope that he's terrible. But I think it's written in the stars. His dad played there, so he's going to go to City probably.
Just for now, again, everybody, any thoughts, any questions? It doesn't have to be what we're talking about right now. Anything at all, do get it in the comments. I'll just circle back a little bit. Again, Leeds coming up on Wednesday. Every game between now and the end of the season is massive. But I think what some people have missed is that, Anthony, essentially, the league is actually within our hands now. It's down to us. Goal difference is very close, I believe, or maybe we're slightly better. If we continue to win our games, if we beat Man City, albeit at the Etihad, that's it. We win the league. I mean, would you have seen that? Did either of you predict that 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, before the news of Diaz and Carvalho started to break, when we were all feeling a little bit down?
I always believe we'll win the league till it's mathematically impossible. I'm just one of them fans who just it's the hope that kills you, really. Like, but I strongly always think Liverpool can still, with Jurgen Klopp as the manager and with this side, like, how many people wrote us off after that Barca first leg? Do you know what I mean? This side's just got the best mentality that I've ever seen in the Liverpool side in my life, to be honest. Got the best manager I've seen manage Liverpool in my life. So I strongly think that Liverpool could always win everything until it's mathematically impossible. I'm more confident for the Champions League. Like I've said that plenty of times this year, but I really do think that we'll do the double this year. I really do. And it'll just shut them United fans up singing about it.
Speaking of the Champions League, I'm pretty sure you did say that last year in the Real Madrid post-match.
Yeah, I'm always confident. Liverpool can get battered, and I'll still think we're going to win something. Like, just always confident. With Klopp as the manager, I do think the impossible is possible, and long way to continue.
I think we always got to be confident with this Liverpool team. Yeah. Look at it, but it's funny. It's like whenever, even if we are like so far behind, like I remember we were losing 7-2 to Villa. I was still calculating in my head like, how many minutes per goal, like, to come back and beat them. But you just always got to be confident with us. Plus, we don't lose that many matches anyway. I remember 18-19 season, we lost the league. We literally lost one match all season. Same with the Premier League winning season, we lost like 3 or 4. So got to be optimistic.
Yeah, it was criminal, wasn't it? And it's interesting, like, other fans, you could just tell like how deep rooted just the hatred of Liverpool, not only as a team but the city and the people, how deep the hatred is for people across the country who've never even been within 5 miles of Liverpool or a Scouser, you know, asking for Man City to win the league to save football. But without Liverpool, without Jurgen Klopp, this league will be a farmers' league. There's been no one. Everyone thought Tuchel and Chelsea would do it this year, but they're falling behind. Even with that last-minute winner against Crystal Palace, they're still 7 points behind us. We're the only ones who can really stop that dominance from Man City. Interesting stat from Hyler. I saw it earlier, but I forgot to come back to it. Since the April the 6th, 2021, when Liverpool lost against Real Madrid, the Reds have lost 2 games in all competitions since then. In the same period, Man City have lost 12 times. Liverpool much more stable. It almost doesn't feel real saying that, Matty, like how negative a lot of spaces were just a month or 2 ago. A lot of disappointing draws, but when you read that out loud, it's quite mad, isn't it, Matty?
I feel like a lot of the hatred towards Liverpool is just a cesspit. That's Twitter, to be honest. Like, it's so overreactionary sometimes. Like, if someone has one bad game, they're getting sold, and it's just ridiculous. Like, if Liverpool have a poor performance, I just stay away from social media, to be honest. There's so much negativity, but all the interviews Klopp's had where they've spoke about is the title race over, he's always said, well, we'll just continue to fight. And that's the way Liverpool fans should think. Like, it's exciting. Liverpool, for years, were never involved in title races and stuff. And finally, we were involved in title races. It's exciting. Every game's got something riding on it. That it's the best time of the season now. And I love it. Like, I do still think we'll win it all.
Noman, thank you very, very much for the donation. Honestly, incredible. Thank you very, very much for that shout out to them. Anthony, same thing to you. It feels like so long ago that we were all going through such a rough season. You know, Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, bless them, love them to bits, but they were our back two. And now we find ourselves here, potentially, don't want to jinx anything, potentially 3 points behind Man City, going into a cup final of a major tournament. It doesn't feel like we've only lost 2 games between now and then.
It's crazy. We all know that was like a one-off season anyway. Like the number of injuries was just crazy, but it just shows how good we are. And to be fair, the matches we lost, who was it? Leicester, I think we outperformed, and had we finished our chances and Salah scored the penalty, we probably would have picked up at least 1 point there. And against West Ham, we were bad, but a couple of dodgy refereeing decisions, if I remember. But it just shows how good we are, and there's definitely more than enough quality in this side to lift all 4 trophies.
Dan says, if you're wondering who is the genius behind the graphics and overlays, it's Anthony, who's on the stream at the bottom. So everybody hype him up in the live chat. He's been revolutionizing our graphics, overlays, everything, and the watch-alongs as well. Going to be, I can't wait to show it. It's honestly incredible. So for the Leeds game and for the Carabao Cup game, we'll have some new stuff. So thank you very much to you. So coming back again, we've got to win this game against Leeds, right? Can we drop 1 point, 2 points, 3 points at all between the end of the season? Matty, you seem to think that Man City could start to shake, but their version of shaking isn't a lot, is it?
Well, City, when Pep starts overthinking things, the City do start to crumble. We've seen it in European finals every time he's got to one, or big European games. He does all madness. So I do think that all Pep has spoke about in recent weeks is Liverpool. All he spoke about is he's just gone on a bar. We're in his head, completely in his head. So I do think he might do some madness, and I don't think Liverpool will get beat. They've got the momentum going there now. Got Luis Diaz in there, which that'll lift the spirit of players. Many players have said that new signings coming in gives the players fresh momentum and stuff. And we've just turned over into Milan. They're the champions of Italy, and we should turn them over in the backyard. Like, that was a proper European away performance. I've seen people saying that Inter bullied us and stuff, but that was a perfect European away performance. They'll come to Anfield and get slapped. So Liverpool are cruising right now, and I don't think we will drop points before the end of the season, but I do think if we did, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because I can see City dropping a few more points before the end, to be honest. We have got to play more of the big six than them, but it does seem like in recent years, City have slipped up more against the teams you'd expect them to win.
I don't want to sort of cover everything in this video, but that game against Man City could arguably be a title decider, because that's all the way in April. I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest games ever, isn't it? If we're still neck and neck by that point so late in the season, Anthony.
That's the one. Like, we have to win. Like, just, I don't think we've won at the Etihad in recent years. Obviously, besides the Champions League fixture, but we've got to kind of prove we're better than City. And whenever there is a head-to-head, we're just struggling to beat them recently. So. That's definitely a key fixture. And with Luis Diaz, I'm confident we'll beat them and win the league. But stuff like the Leeds match, these are must-win matches. We can't be dropping points in the matches we should be winning, and then build the pressure up. And we need to win the title basically as soon as possible, and remove all the pressure off us.
You said, Matty, Pep has been spouting his mouth a little bit. I wondered if what people think, if it is his take at mind games, whether they work or not. It didn't for the Norwich game, thank God. But Leeds is our game in hand, and I suppose that's what he was talking about when he said that we were within 6 points when we were still 9 points behind. For you, is that him intentionally trying to put the pressure onto us, or what I imagine you think is that he's cracking a little bit here?
Pep Guardiola, for me, is arguably the best football coach in the world, but I think the best football manager is Jurgen Klopp, and Pep overthinks everything. He does every single year. That Champions League final against Chelsea, I can't think what madness he done in that game, but then the year before he done a madness. The year before that he done a madness. When Pep starts to overthink things, he just does something absolutely stupid, and we're definitely in his head. Every press, he hasn't even played us, and every press conference, Liverpool's getting mentioned, and it's like, what are you going on about? Focus on your own team. I think deep down Pep's jealous of Jurgen, because I think Pep wished he had a fan base that loved him, to be honest, because they've got no fans. So I think he's just gutted.
Aish says, my focus would be to win, but to 100% avoid defeat at City. Etihad isn't any Old Trafford or Anfield to have that ethos and atmosphere. And Matthias says, I hope you're right. We're in Pep's head and he chokes this title. I mean, I take that into account, the Champions League, he's made some very strange decisions, but Anthony, each year he has got closer and closer. Last year he was in the final, decided for whatever reason to only play Gundogan CDM, completely opened himself up on the counter to Chelsea. I feel like it's almost written in the stars that they're just going to, again, go that one step further and, get to the final. Pep's going to think, right, this time I won't change anything. I'll just do what I've done for the rest of the year and I'll take the trophy home. Thoughts?
No. I don't think City aren't built for Europe. They only got there last season because they had pretty much an easy run and everyone else in Europe wasn't doing great. There was no fans and they got lucky with injuries. But whereas us, I thought we were probably the favourites come the beginning of the season to win the Champions League. Obviously, the Real Madrid match was a prime example. Nat Phillips and Kabak at the back weren't great, and we got knocked out for that reason. But I think we should be favourites. I'm not sure why City are favourites every season just because they have a good team. They've never won it.
They
so.
beat Sporting Lisbon 5-0.
I think if they go up against a good team, they'd get slapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said if they get through against Sporting, which they will, they wouldn't be surprised if Shakhtar Donetsk somehow get drawn against them in the quarters, because that's who they always end up against somehow.
I want them. In
Dan says if they keep spending millions, he'll eventually win it, but it's not really down to him. Someone will go there and with all those players eventually win it. I mean, Sorry, go on, Matty.
I don't think they will. I don't think City will win the Champions League for a long, long time. It's the hardest competition to win. It's a knockout competition. Got to be the best all the time. I don't think City will win the Champions League. I think they would have done it by now. I think it'll be a long, long, long time before they win that.
Plus, Pep's leaving in a couple of years as well, isn't he? So this is the best. We're talking about the best manager for the past decade, realistically. And once he leaves, then they're not going to do any better.
But in those last 2 years, he's going to be desperate to win it. Like, you could almost see him binning off the league and just saying, right, we're going for the Champions League. Matthias says no with the empty head. With fans, the empty head can't manage other stadiums. Hyla says Man City was a much better team than the Tottenham in the game on Saturday, but lost the game. A team with ball possession 72%. Domination and losers have a problem in the goal scoring department. I mean, I almost don't like the fact that Man City don't have a striker, because it just feels like such an easy get-out clause for Pep. Like, when they're winning...
Gabriel Jesus was revolutionary when he comes to City, so they've got him. They've lost Aguero, who didn't play. So they had this problem last year when they won the league, and no one mentioned the striker.
Yeah, it feels a bit convenient, and when they're winning 10 games on the bounce, no one talks about it. But as soon as they lose, oh, bless poor Man City, 500 mil starting, 500 mil on the bench, but they haven't got a striker, And that's what Pep always seems to want to do, is to make out that, Man City are the underdogs, which seems very weird. But this isn't the Man City channel.
Jota's not a striker. He's been playing left wing his whole career, so that's not saying, Liverpool are going to win the Champions League without a striker. So it doesn't make sense. As long as a player can play there, then there's no issue.
I think we're getting towards the end of it. It's been a very fun one, and again, thank you to everybody who's been in the comments and just watching. Please make sure that you do like this video before you go, and if you are new, subscribe. I don't think actually no, I think we've got a Transfer Central coming up tomorrow, but I'll leave with you two. Leeds on Wednesday again. We'll finish where we started. Anthony, score predictions.
I'll go for 3-0.
And Matty?
To Liverpool.
I think Anfield's going to be angry on Wednesday. I'm going to go 5-0.
Why angry?
Just when Anfield's angry, it's just bouncing. Not like a good angry like them. Like in that Norwich game, it was just an angry crowd. Everyone was getting screamed on. That's what we need to be like Wednesday. Like under the lights, the fans are different at Anfield. I do think that if we can somewhat... This game is arguably one of our biggest games of the season because it puts us 3 points behind City with City still to play. I honestly think it's going to be like them famous European nights, but it's going to be against Leeds in the Premier League because the fans know how important this game is. I can't wait for Wednesday. I can't wait already to be on the way to that ground. Like, I think it's going to be dangerous for the fans are just going to be so like on the players, like the Leeds players' backs. It's just going to be unbelievable, and I do think we'll dominate them. And they press, and Liverpool have got Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Luis Diaz, who are all rapid. You can just hit them on the counter. Easy.
A lot of very enthusiastic and optimistic people in the comments as well. Ayush going for a 4-1 or a 3-0. Hyla going for a 4-0. Matthias going for a 4-0. Adam going for a 4-2, but is betting on Diaz to get his first multiple goals in a game. Noman going for a 3-0. And Ayush saying, just hoping Ox is nowhere near that team. Well, the team selection, the team selection will be very interesting. I mean, I'd expect Jones to come back in. I don't know. You know, he has been out for so long, and if he wants to rest the likes of Thiago, obviously he doesn't play with Fabinho plays, but if he wants to rest those first teamers again for the Carabao Cup, then you feel like Curtis Jones should at least be on the bench. Otherwise, you would sort of worry about his long-term future potentially. So plenty of content to come this week. As I said, Transfer Central tomorrow, then Wednesday I'll be here for the Leeds watch along, which should be great. Hope to see lots of you there. We've got a very interesting video coming out on Thursday, I believe. It's like a Liverpool Hunger Games. I literally have none of us have seen it at all. Chedu's been working on that. I don't know what to expect, but pure madness. So stick around for that. And then Friday and Saturday, it's mainly just going to be build up to the Carabao Cup final. Matty, you're lucky enough to be going to that. I mean, you must be gassed.
It's a bit of like an empty excitement really because my brother didn't get one in the bally. Go every game with my brother, and I've done for years and years, so I'm a little bit devastated at that point. But yeah, I can't wait for the final. Can't wait, and especially more because it's against Chelsea. Nothing better than beating them in London. Ooh, can't wait.
Anthony, just very quickly on that, we have played them twice already. 2 draws. You feel like maybe each team deserved to win one of those games. So it's shaping up to be a very not heated, but a very close game. Is that what you picture?
Well, we never backed Chelsea anyway, do we?
We're not just going to beat everyone 5-0, Matty. We all want to.
Chelsea have been poor. They got took to extra time in the Club World Cup.
I know, but they're going to... So did we.
Yeah, but they've been poor. They have been really poor. All the pundits said they had won the league this year, and they've completely fell off the pace. They've been really poor. I really do think that Liverpool will beat them comfortably at Wembley.
So we will have a watch along for that. I imagine Sunday's going to be jam packed with content. We'll probably have, Jack and Tara are going to have some preview stuff. Really well done video. We'll probably have a pre-game chat. We'll of course be live on the watch along so the game's at 4:30 kickoff. So I'll be here from 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever. We'll have some drinks. I'll make sure to get some Carabao energy drink. It just feels right. Or maybe I'll use it as a mixer or something. It'll be a great time. So everybody, make sure you stick around. This is going to be a fantastic week for this channel, for all of us, for all of you, and for the football club that we all love. So do stick around. Matty, Anthony, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a great show, a good start to the chat room. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's only as good as what you guys in the comments allow it to be. Get involved, keep asking us questions, keep giving us your opinions. So thank you very much to everybody watching, and we will see you in the next video.